out, out.
Hello and welcome to another command block tutorial. Today's video we're going to be making a world border system, and this is still working in 1.20 by the way. And basically we have two different designs. I've not personally seen these designs anywhere else, so I think they might be new, but really what I'd like to do is just give you guys some working world border designs. I'm going to show you the first one first because it's a little easier to understand, it's a little easier to implement in your own world, and then I'll show you the second design. Alright, so to get started, first design can technically be done with a singular command. However, I have a second one that just kind of enhances it a little bit. So I'm going to turn this on, and basically what you'll see is I have this as the center of my world, and if I get 20 blocks away from the center in any direction, it's going to turn me around. And boom, no matter what I try, I cannot get outside of 20 blocks because it's going to turn me around. Now, the nice thing about this, I've seen a lot of world border systems where if you get too far away, it just teleports you back to the center. For a lot of people, that's not going to work though, because you don't want to teleport people back to the center. You just don't want to let them get beyond a certain point. This system is really nice because it won't let people beyond a certain point, but it's not going to send them back to the center. They'll still be in the same place. As you see, no matter what I try, boom. And you'll also see above my hotbar, it says world border reached. That's what the second command is. And that is entirely optional. If you guys want to add that, you can change the text. You could not even add that command block. That's entirely up to you guys. But basically, we're going to go into it. This is the most important command right here. This is what's actually going to prevent you from going beyond a certain point. So we have an X, a Y, and a Z. And then you will notice at the end of this command, we have 3 coordinates. You will notice these numbers are exactly the same, and that is intentional. Basically, these coordinates up here, which will always be the same as the last 3 coordinates, should be the center of your world. This is what you want to make everyone else circle around as like the center of the world. Always make this the epicenter. Never make anything else. And then this number right here, I have RM equals 20. Basically, if I want to make the world smaller, I can make this number smaller. So that means if I get 10 blocks away from the center, I can't leave it. If I want to make it much bigger, I can make it 100 blocks. This is how you change the size of your world. And that's just this one command. That's the entire world border system. Now what we can do to make it better is, of course, add a title. And what I did here is a title. We have the same set of coordinates as well as the same number here, which is RM in this case 20. And then we have action bar, and then I world border reached. Obviously, you guys can change this part. Like this text. You can make it anything you want. You can add colors to it. That's up to you. You guys don't even need to include this command. This chain command, entirely optional. But basically, this is a very effective world border in one singular command. And like I said, it is working in 1.20. Now, the second version, because I do want to show both versions in case you guys are interested in something else, is harder, I think, for a lot of people to understand how it works. So if you guys are new to commands, you just want a simple world border, I recommend this version. It's a lot easier to understand than this version will be. But basically, what this version is going to do is that it's going to automatically place border blocks in a certain area no matter where you are in the world. So normally it's going to place them at bedrock level at y-64. However, this command is going to give one example of how the border blocks are being placed. So I'm going to turn this on. As you can see, this command right here is placing them at this height, whereas the rest of the commands are placing them at bedrock. This is just so you can see how the border blocks are working. Basically, as I move to the side, you can see more and more border blocks are being placed. So that if I'm ever trying to get in this direction, even if I'm trying to get around these things, oh, they're still getting placed. I can't ever get around them. Now, normally you wouldn't actually see these blocks. This would be down at bedrock level. I have these commands set up at this height just so players would be able to see it just while I'm demonstrating the video. Now, obviously, this is only one direction. So you're going to need 4 command blocks to block all 4 directions. So the way that we're doing these command blocks here, and like I said, this command block is the display one. I'm not going to actually show you this one so you don't get confused. So this is a little bit more confusing. So what you need to do is you have an execute at A, and then you're running a fill command. So the fill is going to say at relative -2 at the height of -64, which is the very bottom of the world, And then this is the important number right here. This is what you're going to want to change. So I have this set to -20. And if you guys look on the side of my screen, if you look at my last coordinate, these blocks are being placed at -20. So if I say maybe I wanted the world border to be -30, so like out to here, then I would change this number. So this number, -20, I would change that to -30. This is where I'm actually placing the border. And then I have the exact same set of coordinates, except I have a +2. So that's the difference between these three. This is one set of coordinates. I'll add a little extra space so you can see it a little easier. This is one set of coordinates. The only difference between the two sets, this is -2, this is +2. It should always be -64, and this is the number you're going to change. Now, to add the command on the opposite side, it's almost exactly the same command, except you change this number. So in this case, it's 0. So I have another set of border blocks being placed right here, which I can go past them in creative, but if I were to go to survival, you'll see that I cannot get past -0, no matter how hard I try. And I am, just to prove that I am running. Oop. Yeah, I can't get past 0. So that's what you're going to add for those two directions. For this second set of directions, we're going to put I'm going to separate these two just so it's a little easier to demonstrate. So now it's 100, and the actual number of where I want the border block is going to be on the first set of like the first of the 3 for a pair of coordinates. And then we have -2 on the end and +2 on the end of this set of coordinates. So this is saying at 100 on the first set of coordinates, which would be right here. So there's another set of invisible border blocks being placed around this side. And if you look in the last command, it's exactly the same, except I have it as 80 instead of instead of 100. So that would be about here. There's another set, and if I can go to survival and I can demonstrate, I cannot get past this block, and in this direction, I cannot get past here. So like I said, if you guys are new to commands, this might be a little bit harder to understand because you have a lot of stuff you need to do with coordinates. However, if you guys are more experienced with commands, this will be a nice system to give you a square border. And this system right here will also be really nice if you guys are a little bit newer to commands, or if you want a circle border, or you just like the teleporting instead of an invisible wall, you can do this command right here. And once more, I'm just going to show this is the one command for the circle, and then these are the commands for the square. All right, and that wraps up this video. If you guys have any questions, I highly recommend joining our Discord. There's a lot of helpful people on there that'll be able to answer your questions. And if you guys are good with commands, maybe you can help some other people out. And with that,